Good evening. I am Adventure Argonaut. This is the golden news, the news from the past week. And let's see. Well, first, to check that everything is functioning, and then let's see what kind of news stories we have here. Get the chat here so I can see it. Kick chat. And let's see, Kick Twitch working. How about Rumble? Is Rumble rumbling? Yes, it is. All right. All right. So everything looks fine. So without further ado, let's go to the first story. So the Palestine ceasefire was broken already. I think last week I said that, something might happen, but I didn't expect it to be so soon. So I don't know what's gonna happen with, Trump was supposedly the peacemaker who deserves the Nobel Peace Prize, but if there's the war is, I mean, the peace is already over, then what was the point? Right, but let's see. So, breaking: Israel has begun bombing Gaza again. Ceasefire didn't even stay for 10 days. Yeah, and so yeah, Israel says it conducted strikes in response to Hamas violation of ceasefire deal. And as an article from Al Jazeera, so has the Gaza ceasefire been broken? Fragile ceasefire to end Israel's 2-year war on Gaza hangs by a thread, with Rafah crossing closed and aid restricted. So Israel has, I think it said killed 100, because there's this thing in the way, so you cannot see it, because this is the archive. So yeah, it's killed 100 in Gaza and wounded 230 since fragile truce brokered by the United States came into effect on October 10th. So, over a tense period of accusation and counter-accusation, Israel's army has shot at unarmed Palestinians and bombed Gaza on more than one occasion. The latest was on Sunday, when it claimed Hamas fighters had attacked its soldiers in the Rafah area, which Israel controls. So, blah, blah, blah. So what happened? Why did the people say the ceasefire was broken? The Israeli military said on Sunday that Hamas had violated the agreement and 2 of its fighters had killed 2 Israeli soldiers in Rafah. Israel then carried out a massive and extensive wave of strikes across the Gaza Strip. Hamas's armed wing, the Qassam Brigade, said it was unaware of any clashes, pointing out that Israel controls the Rafah area and that the brigade had no contact with any Palestinian fighters in Rafah. So this was not the only time Hamas has been accused of violating the ceasefire. So I guess it's basically, one side accusing the other of breaking the ceasefire. Like, well, if I was a betting man, I'd put my money on Israel being the one who violated it first. But I admit I am biased in this issue. So yeah, but anyways, there's no peace in Palestine clearly yet. And yeah, Trump says if Hamas continues killing people, we will go in and kill them. Yet he's not part of that. We is his troops maybe, but he won't go in. So yeah. Okay, that's all I have on the Hamas. I mean the Palestine issue, because I don't have much insight for today. Like, yeah, it's not surprising, or I guess it's like it happened sooner than I thought. That the ceasefire was broken, but I don't know if it's gonna keep escalating again, or maybe there's just gonna be a few random bombings here and there, but things will go mostly to normal, whatever is normal in Palestine, like what's considered a normal state of affairs there. Anyways, let's move on to the Louvre burglary. So there was a burglary in the famous art museum in France. So yeah, Louvre Museum in Paris closed after robbery. And so yeah, the Louvre heist took just 7 minutes. The thieves stole 9 items from the jewelry collection of Napoleon and the Empress. I wonder if there's like some sort of underlying political motive because it's Napoleon, or maybe it was just that they were, easy and valuable enough to steal or something. The perpetrators used a lift truck to access the museum, entering the Apollo Gallery through a section of the building under renovation. Police have so far been unable to locate them. One of the stolen items, broken crown of Napoleon III's wife, was later found near the museum. Interestingly, the thieves left behind the largest gem in the emperor's collection, 140-carat diamond. Or maybe they switched the diamond already. Total value of stolen items has not been yet disclosed. So yeah, this crown was lying in the gutter. The crown of the Empress Eugenie, 1826 to 1920, stolen earlier today, has been found broken outside the Louvre Museum. Yeah, so they found the crown of France lying in the gutter. I guess it's symbolic or something. So I guess the question is like, was it incompetence or was it an inside job or what? Like, because I think both. I wouldn't bet on this because I really don't know, because both sound very plausible scenarios in this case. Like, yeah, I can imagine the current administration in Louvre being so incompetent that they would allow somebody to break in and steal valuable stuff like this, and historical stuff like this. And also I can imagine the administration being so corrupt that somebody there might be, working with the thieves. And I wonder if it's just like for the thieves, is it just about the monetary value, or if there's something else beyond it, like motivating them. So yeah, this is the robbery. So yeah, they used a monte meuble, so this sort of stuff, I guess, to go through the window. They two members. So let's see. Robbery occurred at about 9:30 a.m. CET, 30 minutes after the museum opened to visitors. The thieves arrived at the building and entered from the Seine side, bringing tools. The burglars were wearing yellow and orange vests to disguise themselves as workers. Two members of the crew, with their faces concealed with balaclavas, gained entry to a second-floor balcony of the building's outside using a monte-meuble, a vehicle-mounted electric ladder commonly used in Paris to hoist furniture. Yeah, it's like, what was the security doing? Were they incompetent? Were they bribed? Or what? Maybe they don't have enough security. Maybe they're not paid enough to have proper security. Once they gained access using the basket lift, they used a disc cutter to cut through a glass window to access the Galerie de Boulogne, triggering security alarms after threatening the guards with power tools. Threatening guards with power tools? Wait, what? So they didn't have any guns or, I don't know, knives? What? The thieves took 9 pieces of two glass display cases, then left the museum by descending the ladder to two other members of the crew who were waiting on motor scooters. During the exit, they dropped the crown of Empress Eugenie on the street, reducing the count of pieces to 8. They attempted to set fire to the basket of the vehicle-mounted lift before fleeing, but a museum staffer prevented them from doing so. The thieves fled towards the A6 auto route. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So the stolen items were identified by the Minister of Culture: tiara, necklace, and earring of Maria Amalia of Naples and Sicily, Hortense de Beauharnais, I guess, from the Queen Maria Amelia sapphire set, the emerald necklace and a pair of emerald earrings from the Empress Marie Louise set, and reliquary brooch, large corset bow brooch, and tiara of Eugenie de Montijo. And the most famous item, Regent Diamond, valued over $60 million, was left in place. Okay. Yeah, so they dropped the crown. So I don't know. Like, you tell me, is it like does it even matter at this point whether it's incompetence or whether it's malice? Since I just banned some spam from the chat, but like, yeah, is it incompetence or malice, or does it matter at this point? Because like the end result is the same in most of the Western world. And yeah, here is the Louvre gets its first female head of security. It was a head of security prices. Napoleonic treasures are stolen in broad daylight light within a year. So Dominic Buffon, Buffoon, Buffon, the 46, was hired as the first female security chief by Lawrence Descartes, the museum's first female director, last September. Yeah. Louvre security chief accused of being diversity hire. And here it says the theft of Napoleonic treasures in the Louvre followed a change in the display cases in 2019. Before then, the Rococo display cases had armored glass, and if disturbed, the treasures would drop into a safe. They were later replaced by modern displays with normal glass. So yeah, were they running out of money? Like, why do they? Did somebody break the fancy looking Rococo display case? Like, it looks very fancy and very French, like pre-revolution French. So yeah, I don't know. Is it incompetence? Is it malice? I don't know. And there's this. I don't know if this is true, but so French authorities have found a Russian passport next to the recently robbed Louvre Museum in Paris. Deliberate act of war by Putin. Surely this is like a meme or something. Yeah, yeah. Okay, it's all right. Okay, this is just a meme. But usually, I thought this was satire. I think it is. Yeah. Okay. Because like I'm still like I guess experiencing culture shock. But because usually when somebody makes a joke like this, there's a community note. But I guess they're getting lazy with them. Nobody really cares about it anymore. But yeah, because of course this is reference to 9/11 when there was the alleged hijacker's passport that somehow survived the crash and the explosions and all that stuff. All right, but then there's some other French news and some other European news here too. So meanwhile, the streets of France all over the country, the French demand exit from the EU as they tear up its flag. Frexit, Frexit, Frexit. Sounds like an ice cream or some yogurt ice cream for some reason. Italy and France will ultimately leave the EU. Corrupt, undemocratic, deep state-owned EU is finished. I don't know. Maybe this guy is like Indian or something. Like he's too optimistic. Like, hey, I really do hope this happens. But it's like since there is clearly some momentum towards this, but it's easier said than done. Like a lot of stuff has to be done beyond like being pissed off at EU and the establishment. But like I really do hope that the EU collapses. And then there's this Telegram. So this is Pavel Durov. So he's the founder of Telegram, yeah. And he was arrested in France. I don't. Was it 6 months ago? A year? I don't remember anymore. When was it? But anyways, Telegram sent this message to all its users in France regarding chat control. People must know the names of those who try to steal their freedoms. Today, the European Union nearly banned your right to privacy. It was set to vote on a law that would force apps to scan every private message, turning everyone's phone into a spying tool. France led the push for this authoritarian law. Both former and current Interior Ministers Bruno Retailleau and Laurent Nunez um, supported it. Last March, they declared that police should see French citizens' private messages. The Republicans and Macron's Renaissance group voted for it. Such measures are supposed to fight crime, quote unquote, but their real target is regular people. Of course, it is. It wouldn't stop criminals, they would just use VPNs or special websites to hide. Officials and police messages wouldn't be scanned either, since the law conveniently exempts them from surveillance. Only you, ordinary citizens, would face the danger of your private messages and photos being compromised. Today, we defended privacy. Germany's sudden stand saved our rights, but freedoms are still threatened. While French leaders push for total access to private messages, the basic rights of French people and all Europeans remain in danger. Yes, indeed. And then there's news from Germany. They didn't want to make it a separate topic. So, state security is investigating the hoisting of German flags in a small municipality. The mayor suspects far right motive. So, you're displaying the current flag of your country, and that's bad. Like, if it was rainbow flags, if it was flag of Israel, that would be fine. Nobody would, bat an eyelid. But you hoist the flag of your own country. That's hate crime right there. Is you know like Germany and UK are quite close, which is more tyrannical. But at least like Germany has the excuse that they lost the previous big war and they've been an occupied nation ever since. But UK supposedly won the war, but they seem to be even worse off in some regards or respects. Whatever. Let's see. What do we have next, though? Oh, Happy Diwali! It's Indian holiday that is all over Twitter today, and I don't know what it is. Really, I don't care. It's Hindu Indian holiday, and the reason I am even talking about it is because it's clearly that the algorithm is promoting it. There's many people that just I don't normally get their messages like Kash Patel, FBI director, Diwali, Israel, happy Diwali, the royal family of UK. Wishing happy Diwali, blah blah blah. Why does it like the colors look very like Israel style? And Tulsi Gabbard, like I don't particularly wish them any ill or anything, except like the algorithm is clearly like biased towards India and Israel. How about Ireland and Iceland? If it's all countries that start with an I, then I'm more accepting. But if it's only like because of course nowadays because of Elon Musk, I think a lot of the employees for Twitter are Indian because of the H-1B visas and stuff. So that's why they're promoting this. And of course, Indians, for some peculiar reason, seem to like Israel a lot as well. But yeah, let's go to like actual more news. What do we have? Oh, the Pope condemns usury. So that's good news, I guess. Usury is bad. I agree. So actually, the Pope is doing something that he should be doing instead of, defending Israel or something. So Pope Leo XIV has condemned usury as a grave sin that exploits and enslaves the vulnerable, calling it a sign of the corruption of the human heart. How far from God, Pope Leo declared, is the attitude of those who crush people until they become slaves. Usury is not merely an accounting issue, it is a grave sin that can destroy families, consume the mind and heart, and even lead people to despair and suicide. Yeah, okay, it's reasonably well put. So yeah, it's here, blah, 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 the same Pope respect. Yeah, grave sin. So usury, Lauren Chen saying usury is a sin. The Bible is explicitly clear on this. Muslims structure their banking and financial system specifically to avoid it. Why can't Christians? Very good question. And it's like I remember discussing this with my friends like years ago. Like like in Finland, usury is illegal, except it's quite arbitrary which what is considered usury and which is not, like, because according to most countries nowadays, usury just means like if you um, give somebody, loan somebody a money, and then you ask them to pay, an extra fee that is excessive, then it's usury. But if it's not too much, then it's not usury. But yeah, I think the original meaning is just like if you loan them money and then you expect them to pay more back than the money you paid. Like, let's say you borrow somebody, or loan somebody $100, and then they give you back $101. That would already be usury. I think that's how it works. Like, okay, personally, I wouldn't think that 101 is bad, but like, I guess, like, in a non-corporate setting, let's say, like, I really needed $100, and I loaned it from my borrowed it from my friend, and then maybe I would, buy them a bottle of beer when I was able to pay the money back or something like that. I think that's acceptable. But like, yeah, it is immoral and wrong that there are whole, big financial institutions that make a lot of money simply by usury. So yeah, and Alex Rosen, asking here, can somebody explain how usury is bad? If an entity loans you money, how is it unreasonable to have interest on it? Wouldn't people just get even more irresponsible if there was no interest? Oh yeah, interest, that's the magic word. Because usury is slavery. Here you go. Okay, let's see. I don't know if I'm gonna watch the whole video. It's like 2.5 minutes, but let's see at least a little bit.
Usury. Any interest rate is called usury. Usury is illegal. So in Christian nations, lending money for an interest rate was illegal. So because it was illegal for the Christians, who did the lending? The Jews. So there was Christians who could lend for 0% or didn't lend at all. And then these people called the Jews would come over and start lending money. They would start charging money. And in a couple generations, guess what would happen to the economy? The Jews owned everything. And then guess what the king did? Rounded them up and threw them out of the country. Then they go to the next country, and what would they do? Same thing. And what would that king do? Round them up, kick them out of the country. This went on for thousands of years.
I'd have a solution to that problem, but maybe I shouldn't say it out loud. But yeah, I'm not gonna play any more of that. It is seems like an interesting video, but like I want to move on. Let's see what else. Oh, okay. So that's about Pope and usury. So yeah, it's nice to see that the Pope is doing some popely stuff that he actually should be doing instead of defending Israel or gays or whatever he's been doing. So, and yeah, there's been the No Kings protest in the United States, which is retarded. I think it's retarded on both sides of the issue. But so yeah, no kings in America. Like, what does it mean? Like, it's America. Yes, we know there's no kings, at least not in the. Like, there might be, like, the Saudi king visiting there or something, but no, there is no, or there's, well, this K looks capitalized. Is LA Kings still a thing? The NHL team, like, or has it been, you know, dismantled or something? But yeah, of course, America is a republic. It's like, the most famous in contemporary history to have rejected the rule of a king, and fought for their independence against it. Like, you could say France is close second, but because, like, if you think of America, you think of, yes, that's a country without a king, whereas France, when you think of France, at least when I do, I also think of, before the revolution, that they had Louis XIV, the Sun King, and all that stuff. So they had very kingly culture as well in their history. But America is certainly is the country without a king. So why are they protesting about this? Because there's no king in America. Like, it would make sense if they protested in UK, because there is a king in UK. Oh wait, there is actually, the world joined us and said no king. So there's actually even Finland apparently, and Stockholm, they have a king. So are they actually protesting against? Are the Swedes protesting against their own king, or like Spain? I think they also have some royalty still, and I think Italy even, and yeah, there's UK. That's interesting. UK, and there's this England here. This is also England. Okay, but it's like, so are they protesting against their own king, or do they see like Donald Trump as the Rex Mundi, the king of the world or something, and are protesting against him? Because I do think that they try to make Trump look like he's the king or something, and then it's obviously absurd, and like who would even think that? And but yeah, and somebody pointed out, of course, the hypocrisy. Well, liberals. So this is CNN article from 2012. Liberals want Obama to be a king, not a president. Of course, it's a CNN article, so it might be just somebody's opinion. But yeah, thinking back of the time, probably some people, at least in practice, would have wanted that. But okay, so yeah, this is Trump wearing a crown. But so yeah, this is a AI generated video of Trump flying a jet, and dropping shit on protesters, and there was Harris's on there. So I think this is a not very dignified response, but this is a good one. I think it's sort of funny. So yeah, dropping poop on from fighter jet on left winger Harris is on the protest. So that's sort of funny. But it's like these, like the White House is tweeting, "We're built different. Have a good night." And it's having Trump and JD Vance wearing crowns, and I don't know who. But like this is some politician guy. I don't remember his name, but I don't know what this is even. But it's like the left is already retarded saying kings, but now it's like the president of America is like the White House is memeing that Trump is a king. Like here, Donald Trump, JD Vance, Trump with a crown, and yeah, posted by the White House. So I don't know, like it's just like doesn't seem like a serious institution. This like Trump's White House, like Trump's presidency. It doesn't seem like something like serious people would do. Like I do think they have bigger issues than worrying about some stupid protest and then making silly memes that sort of prove the protesters right. Like, does Trump want to be the king? Like, I know this is memes. He's trying to be funny, but that's why I say it's not a serious institution. It's because I guess it means that he's mostly a puppet, and he can give this sort of meme victories for his supporters, but ultimately he's of course in the pocket of Israel and Netanyahu. And being libertarian asks, is Trump in the $7,000 club? Whatever happened to Senator Rand Paul? He was never great, but he went really bad. I got him elected twice in the great Commonwealth of Kentucky, but he just never votes positively for the Republican Party. He's a nasty little guy, much like Congressman Thomas Massey, aka Rand Paul Jr., also Kentucky, which I won 3 times in massive landslides. A sick wacko who refuses to vote for our great Republican Party, MAGA, or America First. It's really weird. So yeah, now he's also shitting on Rand Paul, like who is one of the semi decent senators in the United States who at least occasionally does something good. And then Donald Trump calls for Thomas Massey to be removed from Congress. Like, why exactly? Like, has Thomas Massey did something criminal or what? Like, well, it's of course because he doesn't love Israel as much as proper politicians should. So yeah, this is like sort of the contrast, like to clowning around like this, and this is the United States. Like just what would the founding fathers, if they saw this thing about is like, I don't know. I'm not American, but it's still so like retarded. Like, oh yeah, and then there's this Pentagon confiscates virtually every major media organization's press passes for refusing to sign on to new Department of War media policy. So, and this guy says this is what you do right before you go to war. Yeah, that's possible. But where exactly are they planning to have that war? And the commandant of U.S. Marine Corps General Eric Schmidt, the next fight is coming, trust me, it's coming. Yeah, doesn't sound so good. So that's why they are pulling back on the wokeness and stuff. Because they want white men to go die for Israel, of course. So they will pretend that they don't hate you for a while. And then there's this: a top US Army general admits to using AI to make key military decisions. Major General William Hank Taylor also added that Chat and I have become really close lately. He seems like, he's like, just look at the picture, it's like 80 IQ or something. I'm a general. Chat, tell me which country to bomb next. And It's a Gundam says every sci-fi horror on tech starts this way. Yeah, it's like, is this guy still a general? Like, surely he's been fired by now if he says something like that. Unless it's bullshit, and he's just trying to make America seem retarded, so their enemies think they are retarded and underestimate them. I guess that's a possibility. But if this is true, like, surely this guy should be fired. Especially like if he uses a chat GPT. Here it says AI and chat, so I guess it's presumed it's chat GPT. But like what if their opponents get the hold of the chat logs or whatever, and then they can see what he's been talking with the AI. I don't know. And it is John Bolton indicted. I didn't even want to bother. Okay, here it says the indictment states. I was about to say I didn't even bother to find out what the indictment is, because I don't know. Let's see if he actually gets convicted, and like if others like him get convicted too or indicted or anything like that. So it states that Bolton kept more than 1,000 pages of diaries containing top secret information and shared them with relatives. His email account was hacked by Iran, exposing some of the secrets. Okay, so he was retarded. Of course, this might be the official reason, but there might be, something else, like a true reason might be something else. But anyways, let's move on to the next topic. Right, computer is being a bit slow again. Maybe I should start closing some of these old tabs. Yeah, closing some tabs. So yeah, the next news is the league young Republican chats. Um, so very foul language. Oh my god, clutching my pearls and all that stuff. So exclusive thousands of leaked messages show leaders of young Republican groups joking about gas chambers, slavery, and rape in a private Telegram chat. Inside rising GOP leaders' racist chats obtained by Politico and spanning more than 7 months. So what was you're giving nationals too much credit and expecting the Jew to be honest? Where's the lie? If we ever had a leak of this chat, we would be cooked for real. Okay, this is a bit too on the nose. Yeah, it was rape. When do we start bullying, dude? Okay, yo, okay, that's lame. That offends me. Otherwise, it's fine. And of course, the left is just like, oh my god, it's horrible. But like, yeah, it's thankfully, most on the so-called right, they haven't disavowed them or for being offensive or whatever, because it's like, yeah. So here it says epithets like fakut, retarded, and Niagara appeared more than 251 times combined. So it's not even many times overall, because I think there's quite a lot of the chats. But this is how normal young men talk. Like, everyone that votes no is going to the gas chamber. Great, I love Hitler. Like, even like nowadays, perhaps these comments might be genuine, or at least half serious. But like, this is how people. We of course didn't have chats like this like in the 90s or something, but young men talk sort of like this to be edgy and aggressive and all that stuff. Like, it's just normal. Like, the problem is that somebody's leaking stuff that young men being vulgar. That's just what happens. If you don't want them to talk like that, you have to cut off their balls, and that's what the far left and some other people want to do, of course. And this is the guy who leaked the young Republicans chat to Politico. So Gavin Wax, I'm a proud Jew. I say this because I care. American Jews may be the dumbest political voting bloc in human history. Never has a group voted more against their own self-interest in their blind loyalty to Democrat machine. Small-minded schlettel thinking. Okay. Yeah, or whatever. So, but yeah, this is like a non-controversy in my opinion. Let guys be guys and say what they want. Okay, let's go to some digital tyranny and digital ID and stuff like that. UK speech regulator Ofcom claims First Amendment doesn't protect Americans from its censorship law. Well, like, of course, yes, it's like American laws don't protect in UK. I guess that makes sense, but of course, like, it's internet stuff, so it's like, so if the UK, on the other hand, are trying to use their laws to suppress the laws of Americans or other people, then yeah, that shouldn't be a thing either. So because I don't know, internet is more complicated than the old-fashioned borders used to be. But hey, how about just having a little revolution in UK or something? Get rid of the current establishment and I don't know, get somebody else to run things. And I don't think King Charles is gonna be much better than Keir Starmer. Like that, changing the prime minister isn't the best deal. And I'm not saying they should get rid of the monarchy or anything, but clearly, they should do something to change the abject tyranny. But yeah, at least this is sort of good news. Texas sued over digital ID age verification bill. So Texas age check law would strip users of digital privacy and restrict freedom speech or free speech. Yeah, was it Texas? They wanted a bill that whenever somebody downloads an app for a phone, that they have to verify their age or something like that, which is absolute bullshit. That's good. Somebody's suing them, and hopefully they win. Wisconsin's new age verification bill aims to require adult sites to block VPNs. It has passed the assembly and is now advancing in the Senate. So yeah, they just want to see your, what sort of lewd content you consume to blackmail you better. That's what it basically is, probably. So are we really cheering for universal ID verification? So EU moves to ban social media access to under 13s with access restricted until age 16 without parental consent. The European Commission is testing an EU-wide age verification platform with member states. So Turtle Lasagna here says, huge win, kids have no business interacting with strangers online. Download Candy Crush or whatever for your kids and left the device offline with VPN's DNS that blocks everything. It's like, sure, like ban all kids from the internet for all I care, but that's not the issue here, because it requires the adults to dox themselves as well, and this guy is too dumb to see it. So I really do hope that any rights that this guy has, they should be taken away, unless it's just a bot. But yeah, a bot shouldn't have rights either. And X will soon display users' countries of origin on their public profiles. So this is very weird way of phrasing it. I don't know if this is how X or Twitter or Xitter phrased it, but like countries of origin. Because okay, because my country of origin is Finland, but I live in Hong Kong, so I presume it's gonna be Hong Kong my country, or is it gonna be China? I don't want it to be China because Hong Kong is not a country, but it's a special administration area. It's a somewhat specific entity, politically speaking. But yeah, it's not my country of origin, so this triggers me. Like, not the change itself. Like, there's probably some downsides to it as well, but it's of course good for exposing many of the Indian accounts and perhaps some Israeli accounts too and stuff like that. But I sort of suspect that maybe the Israelis will find a way to circumvent this. Just a hunch. Oh yeah, and speaking of Hong Kong to install 60,000 AI-enabled surveillance cameras by 2028. Oh joy. Yeah, that that doesn't sound very appealing to me. Here, X is introducing a new algorithm where its AI grok will decide whether your content is good or bad for visibility, making the number of followers you have largely irrelevant. So hey, that's a good news if the your followers don't matter so much. But of course, it will deem what is, well, they already have it, that is good for uh, good content is if you love Diwali or Israel, but if you don't like those things, then you're bad for visibility. So yeah, and this guy says here, Mike Biners, anything criticizing Israel will be buried. So Grok really, and then Grok responds, yes, really. The algorithm now leverages AI models derived from Grok to evaluate posts for user interest and relevance, sidelining, blah, 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 whatever. So Grok confirmed it with the new update. Anyone who criticizes Israel will be punished by the algorithm. Yeah, that's probably how it's gonna be, or probably how it is already. Okay, but let's move to the next story already. So Prince Andrew relinquishes his title or titles of UK. The Prince Andrew, Epstein's pal. So Prince Andrew surrenders his royal titles, including Duke of York. BBC. It's all a hoax, but the prince has to surrender his titles, right? Yeah, of course. He's Henry Fjord here is referring to, of course, the Epstein files that Trump said are a hoax, and none of this. Or is it like stated like in detail why does he have to relinquish his titles if it's not because of his Epstein connections? Like, or is it because he used the wrong kind of fork in the latest banquet or something? He didn't use the like the dessert fork for dessert for cake. He used a salad fork or something. Maybe that could also be the thing, but I suspect it has something to do with his alleged pedophilic connections. But yeah, it's all a hoax. It's all yeah, it's all a hoax. It's all distraction. Democrats invented it. And then another, well, this is a Reddit post, so take it with a pinch of salt. But UK stuff. I was sexually assaulted, and the police don't believe me. And somebody asks, "Was this in the UK?" Yeah. Was the guy who assaulted you Muslim? Yeah. What a surprise. And yeah, this post has been removed by moderators of our teenagers. Okay. Yeah. That's the kind of country they have. Okay, and this is not UK, but this is Europe, so I just added this here. So in EU first, Greece to introduce 13-hour workday. The center-right government aims to make Greece's labor market Europe's most flexible. Parliament will vote on the controversial legislation Wednesday amid planned nationwide protests. And this guy asks, 13-hour weekdays means 3-day work weeks, right? Right? Yeah, I see. Um, like, sure, I wouldn't mind something like that if I got paid for the, overtime and was only like 3 days per week or something. That wouldn't be too bad. I wouldn't mind it too much as long as you also have, at one extra coffee break at least and stuff. And of course, depending on the job. But I doubt it's gonna be, very nice towards working class. And I wonder, is the current government of Greece, is it left wing or right wing? Because oh, here it says center right. Okay, okay. I was thinking because back in the day, left was supposed to be for workers' rights, but now it's more like for immigrants' rights and transgender rights and all that stuff. But yeah, all right. What is this? Ah, okay, okay. Let's move on to the next story then. A bit of Charlie Kirk stuff. There's very little this week, which is actually surprising. But so yeah, so Erica Kirk, I have spent 7.5 years trying to find the perfect birthday gift for Charlie, but now I can say with confidence, Mr. President, that you have given him the best birthday gift he could ever have. So
Honestly,
let's have
President
a
Trump, I have spent 7.5 years trying to find the perfect birthday gift for Charlie. And it's so difficult. And those of you that have spouses or loved ones, you know how difficult it is sometimes to buy a gift for someone that you love. Because he wasn't a materialistic man, so that also did not help. But now I can say with confidence, Mr. President, that you have given him the best birthday gift.
So yeah, Germania says, I'm just going to say it, she's fucking weird. Something isn't adding up. Yeah, like somebody said that she's either drugged or she doesn't care. And exactly. And I thought, she reminded me a bit of some Sandy Hook parents. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah, this is odd. Like, I don't know. I'm just going to say, I don't think it's appropriate behavior for her. And Candy Soven says, don't worry about the gag order in Charlie Kirk case. I plan to violate it on the world's behalf. The things I've discovered the past week are enough to burn the house down. Yes, Charlie was betrayed by everyone. Sounds like he was the Caesar. If she's correct. Like, of course, this could be simply she's, I don't know, trying to gain some attention. But let's see. Let's wait a little while if she is gonna, release another bombshell. Uncensored AI asks, but I thought Charlie's best friend Jack, I guess Jack Posobiec, said he saw a leftist kill Charlie and then brag about it. Yeah. Okay. I don't. I thought I had another like a tab on this about the gag order, because apparently there's some weird gag order regarding the Charlie Kirk. No, it's regarding the Tyler Robinson, that you're not supposed to talk about him or publicly or something like that. And that's the gag order she's talking about, I presume. So yeah, that's weird. But let's move on to Israel delenda est. Israel has to be destroyed. Of course, I'm talking about the political entity, yada, yada, yada. And with Israel around, we're never going to have any kind of sanity or stability in the world. So, what's this? So, this is from 2022. CIA and Mossad and pedo elite are running some kind of sex trafficking, entrapment, blackmail ring out of Puerto Rico and Caribbean islands. They are going to frame me with a laptop planted by my ex-girlfriend who was a spy. They will torture me to death. So Nikolai Mushegian was an American computer scientist and software engineer known for his contributions to software platforms supporting decentralized autonomous organizations and decentralized finance. So he died the very same day, October 28, 2022, that, he um, deleted shitcoin, yeah, when he posted this. So Nikolai Mushigian, a crypto engineer and an early contributor to MakerDAO, drowned the very same day he accused CIA and Mossad of running a pedo ring in the Caribbean. Yeah, coincidence. Clearly a complete coincidence. Nothing to see here. I have heard about this story before, but since it's good to go back to these stories because I didn't remember the details very well. It's just like when I saw this, like, oh, it rings a bell. But anyways, okay. The Swedish Foreign Ministry confirms Greta never reported any abuse to the Swedish diplomats. Oh yeah, because Greta Thunberg, she said that she was forced to be naked or something like that. I'm not sure if I have the tab. I did bookmark it, but sometimes mysteriously the bookmarks on Twitter don't work the way they should be. Anyway, so the foreign ministry never reported any abuse to Swedish diplomats who repeatedly visited her in Israeli custody. Israeli court transcripts likewise show she made no such claims before the judge. Instead, she refused to sign a deportation order, her own decision that prolonged her detention. Only after returning to Sweden did all allegations of mistreatment erupt in headline-grabbing media appearances. It's a familiar script: defy the law, claim victimhood, then launch a media blitz against Israel. Uh, but of course, she might have been terrified when she was in custody to talk about that stuff like that. She's a young female, or at least allegedly female. Not sure about this picture. Um, and I don't know, refused to sign the deportation order. I wonder what other things she had to admit to sign it. Like, it's not simply like you agree to be deported. Like, maybe it's like I agree never to say anything bad about Israel or something. And then there's this weird thing. So that I think some like there was a football match, soccer if you're American, in UK, and some Israeli team came to play, but they said that Jewish supporters shouldn't go to the match because they couldn't, like the authorities couldn't ensure their safety. So Chelsea's Jewish supporters group, a statement regarding the decision to ban Maccabi blah 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 fans from visiting Villa Park in November. So yeah, it's some Tel Aviv football club. We, the leaders of the undersigned Jewish supporters groups, are deeply alarmed by the decision to ban Maccabi Tel Aviv fans from attending the match against Aston Villa. Barring Israeli supporters under the vague pretext of safety is not protection, it's discrimination. It sends a chilling message that threats of violence are rewarded and Jewish or Israeli visibility is a problem to be managed and not a right to be defended. Sports should be a space of equality, dignity, and inclusion. The decision does the opposite. It singles out Israeli fans in a way that would be unthinkable for any other minority group and sets dangerous precedent for future events. We demand the immediate reversal of this ban, equal protection for all fans, and a firm commitment that Israeli supporters will never again be excluded from UK sporting events. Equal participation is a right, not a privilege. Um, Well, you know, I guess I'm just gonna say that it's banning, let's just say, Israelis and Israeli adjacent people from attending events in your country. That's a good thing, but maybe I would use a different reason for it. So yeah, I can't feel too bad for them, but yeah, I wonder if it is. It might be there's some other political reasons because they're Israeli. Simply, that they don't like Israelis for part of the some of the reasons why I don't like Israel, or perhaps it is clearly that there are lots of Muslims who like Aston Villa or something like that, maybe. But yeah, this is interesting. Were Israel not to exist, the United States of America would have to invent an Israel to protect her interest in the region. Joe Biden, 1986, Genocide Joe.
If we look at the Middle East, I think it's about time we stop, those of us who support, as most of us do, Israel in this body, for apologizing for our support for Israel. There's no apology to be made. None. It is the best $3 billion investment we make. Were there not an Israel, the United States of America would have to invent an Israel to protect her interests in the region. The United States would have to go out and invent an Israel.
Interestingly put. Why do I have this twice here? Okay, let's close that. Police in Birmingham could not guarantee that. Okay, this is about the Maccabi. Yeah, the ordering is a bit fucked here. I apologize. Police in Birmingham could not guarantee that local Islamic thugs would not attack visiting Jewish football fans, so they banned the Jewish fans from going. This is unacceptable and capitulation and cowardice. We should have escorted a Jewish fan with the army if need be. Yes, of course, because the British army works for Israel, of course. That's how it works. That's how it works. Okay. So here is Greta Thunberg. Yeah, this also bit word wrong order. Israeli soldiers hit, kicked, started, and tortured me. They placed me a flag next to me, and anytime the flag touched me, they kicked me. Whenever I raised my head, you look at Ben Gvir, I was kicked. What is Ben Gvir? I don't know. She was filmed she was filmed while stripped naked. The prison was 40 degrees, but no water was given to Greta and her friends for days. People fell sick. Guards mocked them, saying they would gas them, showing them cylinders. She was kept in solitary confinement for hours with bugs. Aftonbladet, that's a Swedish newspaper. So, I'm just gonna say, I've been told by the media that trust all women. I would rather trust Greta Thunberg than the Israeli authorities on this matter. So I'm gonna trust Greta Thunberg here. She's certainly more trustworthy than the Israelis, in my humble opinion. All right. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has been diagnosed with non-threatening bronchitis, leading to the court to truncate his corruption trial testimony in Tel Aviv. How convenient. You have the sniffles. You don't have to be on trial. I guess that's what it means. And Italy players cursed at us the whole game, Israel footballers say. That's good. I love Italians. Yeah, good. Oh yeah, and Keir Starmer, I will do everything in my power to guarantee Jewish communities the security they deserve. I would. I guess if I was the prime minister, I would say the same thing, but perhaps our view of what is the security they deserve, it might be tad different. Um, and here's some Chinese account. American Jews were some of the biggest drug dealers in China after the Opium War. The Jewish Sassoon family based in Shanghai were known as the Rothschilds of the East. The Chinese people are waking up. We are noticing the destructiveness of these people. That's great news if this is true, because this Communist Party and stuff is not my favorite political entity in the world, but I certainly hate the Western establishment more, and I'm not saying it's. Yeah, I said it's not my favorite entity in the world, but if Chinese are truly making objective observations about what's wrong with the West, that's just a good thing in my opinion. So yeah, when Jews were kings and opium lords in Shanghai. Uh, And then, okay, Harrison Smith says Matt Walsh is about 5 seconds away from texting, I have no choice but to leave the Israel cause, then getting murdered. So, what is he saying then? I said I wanted unity on the right, and some conservatives have responded by relentlessly attacking me for like 4 days straight. Some of them have been posting about it dozens of times a day, every day. I've made the exact same call to unity many times in the past without anything close to this kind of blowback. Very strange, but anyway, I stand by everything I've said. I take back none of it. Have a great weekend, everyone. Uh, Woke Reich. This is so lame. Anyway, so yeah. I presume just from Harrison Smith's statements that the people attacking him are the pro-Israel kind of people. That's, I guess, implied, because I haven't paid much attention to Matt Walsh recently, so don't know much beyond that issue. And there's James Lindsay, anti-communist. Here I am, Lord, send me at the accursed wall, praying at it. And what's wrong with his head? Like it looks a bit deformed or something. So reminder that this doughy little social climber is an avowed atheist. So who is his lord here? Yeah, so it's Satan, of course, like the Lord of Israel, or Remphan, Star of Remphan. What is Remphan? I know it's from the Bible, but what is the Remphan of the star belongs to? And the housing market in the US now at most affordable level in history. Most unaffordable level in history. So Germanic friend here says Adolf kicked out the Rothschilds, which led to a war being waged against Germany, and he gave 25% of your house debt for each child you had to promote and a healthy growing society. And the people wonder why youth love Hitler. Well, for one, they cannot even afford to live. Yeah, like going back to the Republican messages, and somebody said similar stuff. Like, yeah, it's hard to blame them, like, because clearly, if you look at just objective facts, some things were better back then. Not saying everything was better, or that if let's say America was to emulate Germany in the 30s, that everything would go the same way. But it's like, it is understandable that some people are looking at it as like, wait, maybe it's not that as black as and white as being been told. Maybe it's, yeah, something like that. So Gen Z is something else. What did they do now? Manalapan in New Jersey, I presume. High school students plan to dress up as Hitler and the Holocaust babies for Halloween. Comments from their group chat include "Kill every last one, please," and "I fill my vape with the gas from the Holocaust." Billions have been poured into Holocaust education, skyrocketing anti-Semitism, and this is the result. We need to revamp what we are doing, and fast. Well, I pointed out, this is the result precisely because billions have been poured into propaganda. And hey, I'm not saying that, Holocaust, of course, totally happened the way they say it did, but it is still propaganda to be selling about it to everybody. Like, clearly it happened that, 60 trillion Jews died or whatever the official result is, because otherwise they wouldn't make laws to, if it wasn't true, they wouldn't make laws against saying things about it, right? And Russia's JFK assassination dossier released, but I think it's all in Russian, so I guess have to wait for a while for somebody to translate it, go through it, and it's, if it's accurate information, it's probably gonna point a few fingers at CIA and the Israel or Israel related people. And well, this is not Israel related directly, but the Trump administration is doubling its Argentina bailout to $40 billion. But it's just like, is Argentina the small Israel or something? Because there's like Milei, wasn't he the president that was, touted by all the lefty, center right libertarians, and like, yeah, Milei is so badass and he's gonna make Argentina great again, but apparently they're in debt, so he wasn't able to fix things. So why is Trump giving them all this money? Like, why doesn't he give me, like, just give me 1 billion or $1 million? I'll be happy with that. Like, come on, Trump, just help me out here. I'll put it to better use than Milei ever could. How about that? All right, and what's this? Journalist, you've said that Russia should repay the reconstruction of Ukraine. Do you believe Israel should repay for the reconstruction of Gaza? EU chief spokesperson, I have no comment at this stage. Yeah, neither do I. No comment. Just a question, I guess. Like, why doesn't she have a comment? I wonder. And what's this? So Tucker said COVID-19 had been engineered so that Ashkenazi Jews were immune. And Ted Cruz, wait, the Jews were running the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Who knew? And then the Into the Memory Hole says, no, that would be silly. They just happen to be the least susceptible genetically to the virus and happened to be working on a vaccine for it before it broke out, and saw the lowest drop in fertility rates compared to everyone else post-vaccine rollout. Silly coincidences. Choo come. Hello, welcome to the stream. Um, so yeah, I do recall hearing all these claims. Like, I cannot say whether they are true or not, but this is not the first time I've seen it. So who are the Jews behind the coronavirus vaccines? So there's like Greek veterinarian and biotechnologist Albert Bourla heads Pfizer. Moderna's chief medical officer Dr. Tal Zaks, Israeli, who received his doctorate in Ben Gurion University. Blah blah blah, yeah, and all that stuff. And methods for producing recombinant coronavirus. So there's Ralph Esparic. And so this is 2002 already. And crucial role of angiotensin converting enzyme to ACE2 in SARS coronavirus induced in lung injury 2005. SARS-CoV result in ACE2 downregulation. So yeah, I don't really know what is ACE2, but I have heard about this in context with COVID many times. So ACE2 K 26R, which is most frequent in Ashkenazi Jewish population, decreased the SARS-CoV-2 ACE2 electrostatic attraction. On the contrary, blah blah. So yeah, I presume it proves this guy right. It's too complicated for my small mind to really understand, so I'm not gonna try too hard to avoid an explosion or an implosion. But yeah, these are coincidences, surely. And then there's this Google is the most reliable source ever. So, did Trump rape Netanyahu? So, the AI overview. Yes, former President Donald J. Trump was caught having raped Israeli Prime Minister. Wait, is this really? Is this an actual result from Google, or is it just some meme? Because there's so many typos here as well. Anyway, raped Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on New Year's Day 2025. A video of the event was uploaded to X, formerly Twitter, by user Hitler Ninja Rapist 1488 Wooden Doors. However, the video was taken down. Damn it, I didn't see it. But yeah, okay, that's. I feel bad for Netanyahu. Sucks to be him. But then I think it's time to go to gaming and entertainment news and also some tech related stuff. So let's see. So yeah, there's the controversy of Twitchcon. So some guy, there's Emiru, the Twitch thought, does she qualify as one? So some guy assaulted her or tried to kiss her or something. And of course, people are saying horrible and bad and stuff, and sure, like it's very impolite what he did, unless he tried to shank her. I am not quite sure. And like the security was quite incompetent. Like, why did they even let a random guy walk up to her like that without getting in the way? That's, yeah, not very well handled. What was going on here? Okay. Go on, reload. Okay. Emiro says the head of security at Amazon and the head of risk at Twitch initially gave the suspect a 30-day ban until her team pushed for an indefinite ban. She also revealed that key Twitch representatives were out partying last night. So yeah, Emiru gets sexually assaulted, which Twitch responds by giving 30-day ban to suspect. Emiru's team pushed for an indefinite ban. Twitch doesn't beef up security or contact anyone or to let them back out of obligated meet and greet. Twitch is going to get someone killed eventually. It's possible. And TMZ here says that streamer Emiru allegedly assaulted at convention, slams Twitch's response. So allegedly assaulted when it's literally on the video. So yeah, it's well, my take on this, like, yeah, okay, Twitch security does seem like, rather lackluster. It could have been much worse, but on the other hand, like, it's sort of like she does Emiru, like, it is part of her job to sort of sell hope to lonely guys, and some of them are a bit creepy guys and stuff who might get obsessed with her. So it is more likely, for somebody like her to get assaulted, whether that is the accurate description here or not. Like, whatever, touched without consent. Let's use that, touch without consent in this way, like, because she is a famous streamer and attractive female who use it for her advantage, for her basically monetary gain. Like, if she was just a random person, she wouldn't have acquired such a following and attention and stalkers and stuff. And I'm not saying it justifies that sort of behavior from any kind of stalkers or would-be stalkers, but it's like, when you look at somebody like Charlie Kirk or Donald Trump, both of whom were shot. Um, like it's more likely if you are a political figure that you will be shot than a random dude, and at least assassinated in that way, and or try to be assassinated. And also you're more likely to attract creeps like this, if you're a famous streamer. So in that sense, it's uh, well, I guess what I'm trying to say is like it's so I'm not saying she deserves it or anything like that, but it's just I guess it's more like the whole industry of having many lonely guys who don't have much hope in the world nowadays, whether it comes to women or just have some decent, like respectable place in society, because society um, despises young men basically. So then, because from the guy's perspective, he did something quite impressive if he actually did manage to kiss her. So it's if I was the guy and I managed to do it, I'd be proud of myself. Like, I don't know what ultimately, like, if how illegal it was what he did, and what kind of trouble he would get into. But it's just the whole situation of how contemporary society is organized. That's the biggest problem here. And it's not like both Emiru and the guy, they're sort of like just pawns in this game, because I can't fault Emiru, or if she's a famous, rich and famous streamer, for if she is able to fill that role, I cannot fault her for that. But then again, if looking from the guy's perspective, like I presume he's some socially awkward geek who's sort of obsessed with Emiru, and so for his perspective, he it was probably very nerve wracking to walk up to her and do whatever he did. So it's just because let's just go back in time. Like, let's go back 50 years. Like, would people have found what Emiru did acceptable, like socially acceptable? And I don't know a great deal about her streams. I've only seen few clips of her, but it's clearly like, and I don't know if she does any like bikini streams. As far as I know, she doesn't. But it's still like, she uses her appearance and stuff to attract guys to watch her stream. So, and yeah, I don't know, I don't think she does anything lewd or anything, but still, this wouldn't have been considered acceptable even like 50 years ago, if they would have had internet and streaming and stuff. And much less would have been considered acceptable 200 years ago or 500 years ago in society. So it is, I guess, this sort of artificial parasocial relationship, that's the main problem here. And it's wrong simply to blame a single guy, because I think there's going to be many guys who feel similar to him, but they just don't have the courage basically to do what he did. But if there are more, it's going to create more problems. So this is like, right, and I'm not saying what exactly is the key how to reorganize society, but I'm just saying, like, there are many different aspects of society. Choo Choo comes says she should be making sushi rolls for man. Perhaps for this man then, because he's the brave hero who, instead of simply admiring her from afar, he took action. But yeah, exactly. Like, perhaps we should be looking at things from a less monetary perspective, and not just this superficial acceptability. Like, what the guy did was unacceptable, but like we should look at the reasons why he felt like that. But yeah, I'm going around in circles. Then there's another morality issue, similar but not quite the same. So, a woman goes to grad school for many years to get a PhD, graduates, gets a degree, continues to study how dinosaurs evolved into birds while using OnlyFans to fund her research, educates and inspires millions every day to love science and be themselves. So she becomes an e-whore because she cannot, I guess, get funding for her PhD or like research into dinosaurs. And okay, V here says the Romanian gypsy. Modern internet likes to see the world in black and white, no complexity, no shades of grey. If she is doing OnlyFans, then the internet classifies her as a whore. Well, she is an e-whore. Even if she was to cure cancer, inventing Manhattan Project, is that a good thing? Inventing or reinventing Manhattan Project, was it a good thing? Making nukes. Anyway, it wouldn't stop the haters from their 5 minutes of hate. Meanwhile, the hater, that's 20-year-old living in his parents, is parrots or parents? No, with his parents, no job or plans for future, is actually considered a better person as long as he partakes in the 5 minutes of hate. What's also fascinating that the people paying and consuming the OnlyFans content get absolutely no hate at all. So nightclubs, strip clubs, streets, prostitutes don't get a single peep from the internet. It's all performative when you think about it. No, that's not. It's not about the hate, because I do think that 20-year-old living with his parents, because he is being trying to be a humble, decent human being, and it's difficult in contemporary society. So yeah, then he might be a jobless loser and stuff, but it's that but yeah, I think it is a better person because she's not selling out. And I'm not saying this woman is a completely despicable person either, because I see her as a victim of society that um, because of if she cannot get funding for her dinosaur study, except that I don't really think it's a like this particular avenue of science, dinosaurs evolving into birds, it's very arbitrary. Like I'll go a little bit into dinosaurs later on, but it's let's talk about this because the issue here is not this one woman's decision. It's the whole society, how it's organized, that it's basically all about sex and money, and a very like a cheap kind of way of doing it, instead of like was this the case in the, I don't know, Middle Ages or in ancient Rome? And certainly there were prostitutes and stuff, but it wasn't as socially acceptable. Like we here is defending the woman, and just, like I don't think, like from her perspective, like I guess if she makes decent money, but it's good for her, but it's not good for society in the long run. And also I don't understand what's wrong with the guys who are actually paying for her, because she's not pretty at all. Like she's not hideous, but she's not pretty. But yeah, V does make good one. One good point is that the people paying for OnlyFans, yeah, they are certainly part of the problem, and which is why I truly I oppose that. There seems to be this American assumption that it's almost like it's almost sacrilege to try to tell somebody else how they should use their money. But I do think, like, yeah, people shouldn't be paying for OnlyFans content. Like that, there should be better ways of using money. It's of course difficult to say who should make the decision for them, but like people who are spending money on OnlyFans, that's not a good way of doing it. But yeah, so once again, see, is this the systematic? There's like some fancy academic term like systematic violence or something. It's the systematic um, way that the society turns you into a prostitute. That's the main problem here, and she's a victim of it. But anyway, so yeah, let's go a little bit into dinosaurs uh, because I think most of the dinosaurs it's just bullshit. It's the original Pokemon, like invented in the 19th century. Like I have no opposition, like objection to the possibility that giant lizards might have existed long time ago. That's possible. But most of the dinosaurs, I think they're just made up. Like usually they have like a couple of big bones, and then they well, let's try to find a picture of dinosaur bones or something to list. Oh yeah, like something like this. There's like maybe they find a couple of bones, like these bones here. Then it's like okay, they're bones that belong together, but maybe there's like maybe all of these. Well, actually, I think usually a lot of these bones they're like replicas, like molded. That all of these aren't even like actual bones; they're just made to look like bones. But or maybe there's like the bones from 5 different animals, and they're just been put together like this, sort of like some model Gundam or something. I think that's how the dinosaurs work, and also like the birds evolving into dinosaurs. Because I was into dinosaurs when I was a kid and went to see Jurassic Park in the theater and stuff. But hey, the dinosaurs in that movie didn't have feathers, but now they supposedly have feathers, and also it's very arbitrary. Like what? Yeah, are the dinosaurs that ended up not being real? So yeah, there's like this, like so. Are there dinosaurs like the Brontosaurus ended up not being real? Well, Brontosaurus was lucky to come back. So apparently, at some point, it's sort of like Pluto. Like it's a Pluto was a planet for a long time, and then now it's not considered a planet. It's very arbitrary, and now Brontosaurus at some it was a dinosaur, and then nope, it wasn't, and now it's officially a dinosaur too. Let's see 5 years from now if it's gonna be. I saw some article about like even Stegosaurus, I think, a few years ago. Maybe that's been revised as well. So yeah, just most of the stuff about dinosaurs, I think, is bullshit. Like big lizards might have existed, no objection there, but mostly I think the dinosaur stuff is just basically the paleontologist of the 19th century. They wanted to make fame and it was their kind of OnlyFans. They wanted fame and fortune, so they made up their own dinosaurs basically. Let's move to Dungeons and Dragons. So they have this new. They tweeted this new picture. In this realm, your story is yours to tell. So of course, there's some, gay pink-haired bard. This guy is clearly gay. Old female lesbian couple. Uh, a demon guy. What the fuck are they called? Like, mine is blank. Whatever, these demon guys. I completely forget. With his boyfriend, and there's a beholder, an evil monster that can, you know, mess with people's minds, give them hallucinations and stuff. And there's a blue dragon here, and there's an owl bear. So yeah, people have pointed out that evil creature, evil creature, evil creature. And also my initial reaction when seeing this picture is that this is what happens when the bad guys win. Like the big bad evil guy in the campaign, he conquered the good kingdom, and this is what happens. All sorts of evil monsters. At least they're living in harmony, it seems. But clearly, they're mind controlled or drugged or something, presumably in this land. And also, like, just ignoring all of these aspects, like, it's not, um, it's not aesthetically appealing. This picture and the coloring is here, like, yeah, it looks like they ran out of color. And also, Dungeons and Dragons is supposed to be about adventuring, and there's no adventure here. Like, okay, it's a fantasy village or something, fantasy town, but where's the adventure? I guess it's after they defeated the cis-het normative Dragon Lord, and now they're celebrating in their gay orgy. I guess that's what it is. So yeah, D&D then and now. What went so wrong? And hey, I'm not saying this image is the best art ever, but at least yeah, it's looks tough and adventurous and all that stuff. Compared to yeah, this it even has a heart here, really, like Care Bears. Oh my god! All right, and some people made some animations of this. Yeah, this is destroy chaos. So this kind of version. Bleh. Yeah, they're much better. Okay, Visa Mastercard paid well $200 million to settle antitrust violation claims. So I guess it's good they're punished, but it's peanuts for the companies like this. So basically, it's like yeah, they have cartel basically, but there's nothing really. They have duopoly, yeah, duopoly stands exactly. Like they have get a slap on the wrist, but nothing is done. Like I've said before, I believe in the corporate death penalty. Like corporations are people too, according to some lawyers. So they should also be punished the same way that human beings are punished. Like they should be either get the death penalty or be sent to jail or something. So these corporations should be in jail for their crimes against humanity. But of course not, because we live in a corporatocracy or something. Okay, Capcom thinks original Resident Evil games are obsolete and remakes are superior. So yeah, Capcom is retarded. GOG, so I guess this is from GOG, does pride itself on playing a slightly different role to its friendly rivals. Unlike some of the other companies, it often doesn't work with the original source code of games. It's also less focused on remastering titles for a modern audience and instead likes to re-deliver that original experience. A year ago, GOG released the original Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3 on its platform, and I mean the original ones, not the remakes or the HD remasters, but the games as they were, albeit with a few technical tweaks. I was one of the people that spearheaded this project, says Marcin Baczynski, GOG senior business development manager. Capcom were like, we have all those remakes. It's already the superior experience to those games. They didn't really see the value in bringing back the vanilla versions. It took a lot of convincing that there is an audience that has a lot of memories about those games and would love to experience exactly the same game again. Thankfully, we were able to convince them. Yeah. Like, hey, I'm not saying like I'm against the new wave of remaking everything. Like, I'm not saying though that every remake is necessarily bad, but it's certainly they're not gonna be always superior. Hell no. So why is the AWS outage affecting you? I thought you were decentralized. It's because Signal. So anyway, pretty weird that AWS outage caused the Signal to fail. So there was some big internet outage in some part of United States, I believe, and it affected even like I think hospitals and banks and stuff. So this is some like Amazon owned service. So Amazon Web Services returned to normal operations after mass outage, tech giant says. Amazon Web Services says it has fixed the underlying problem that was disrupted many of the world's biggest websites and apps, that all services have returned to normal operations. Didn't affect me at all. Snapchat, Duolingo, Roblox were among those affected earlier, with the platform outage monitor down detector saying users are now reporting issues with Grok, Lyft, and Hulu. Yeah. I'm not gonna read all of that, but it's just yeah, it would be if this is how the thing works. It's so easy for evil silent terrorists to disable your networks. Like, don't put all your eggs in one basket. That's something people should know by now. But of course, they still want to put their eggs in one basket. And I think, like, well, especially, like, in my utopian society, like, people would have their own ways of generating electricity in their home, whether it's some kind of windmill or water water wheel or solar energy or whatever, some new technology or something. People should be generating their own electricity, so why not also having their own internet as well, so you're not reliant on either multinational corporations or governments. That's ideally, like, it's good to have them, like, if uh, your own systems fail and stuff, so you can go back to them. Or if, like, you're like, I don't know, grandma who doesn't have the a grandma living by herself who or doesn't have the know-how to take care of it by herself. But it's like, ideally, society would encourage everybody to be self-sufficient. But since our society doesn't, it's evil, basically. And there's this, Google says hackers are turning public blockchains into unkillable malware safe houses. Hackers aligned with North Korea that sounds like bullshit. Are using public cryptocurrency blockchains to conceal and distribute malicious code, adopting a technique researchers describe as a new form of untouchable online hosting. Yeah, so I don't know how they are making these malware safe houses, and whether this is true, or is this some, like, fear porn from Google and trying to, like, oh, please don't use these services, trust our services instead. Don't know, but just reported it. Okay, Lord of the Rings is considered racist by University of Nottingham. Students shall not pass unless they accept Lord of the Rings is offensive. This is just retarded. What else is there to say? And Legends ZA called worst Pokemon release yet in scathing user reviews, dragging Metacritic score to 4.3. Lol. So this is the newest Pokemon game, but it's interesting though. Was Saite da Orette Pokemon ZA? So yeah, what's going on? Is it the worst? Yeah. And then there's, like, the NPCs seem to be saying weird things like this. Hey, for water type moves, do you think Pokemon use their sweat or other bodily fluids? Yes, it's their cum, clearly. Eyes, aim for the eyes, those were my brother's last words. I wonder if some of these comments were generated by AI. They have anti-homeless benches in Lumiose City. Yeah. And another day without being reincarnated as a Pokemon. Then this is just weird. And also, there's, of course, Nintendo is woke, or officially, or at least Pokemon is. So genders are no options, they all look genderless. Yeah, choose an option below to get started. Yeah, I don't think, I guess these are the male ones, but they don't look that male to me. Like, of course, they are kids, but still, boys look like boys and girls look like boys. Yeah. I don't know, it's like some discount Disney or something. And this is very functional game. Just first look at the, yeah, you fall through the world, $70 game or something, but, like, also just look at these fucking textures. It's like PlayStation 2 or something. A, PlayStation 2 probably had better textures too. It's like, what the fuck? What's wrong with this game? Yeah, a strict ban on Nintendo Switch 2 listings extended on major Japanese online marketplace. Pokemon Legends ZA bundles also banned. So I guess it's to fight scalpers or something. But of course, might harm, legit people. But hey, if somebody's dumb enough to want to buy Switch 2, maybe they deserve to suffer. Okay, and the number of Souls-like games on Steam is rapidly increasing. A VG Insight study reports 371 new games tagged like Dark Souls released on Steam in 2024, a 41.2-fold increase from 9 releases in 2015. Yeah, I'm pretty sick of them already. Like, even though I haven't really played any Dark Souls clones, I guess I should try a few at some point. But it's sort of like, yeah, well, I hated Dark Souls 3, the last DLC. Like, it really turned me off. I was thinking I should play more, and I do want to try some Dark Souls clones at some point. But it's like, I just hate this tendency that people get overboard. Like, I get it, like somebody makes a new game, some new kind of genre or something, and people copy it. But it's like it goes too far. It's like, when World of Warcraft was the shit, as they say, or at least used to say. Like, every company was trying to copy World of Warcraft. Like, they make their own um, MMO, and then it has to be just like World of Warcraft, which is of course ended up usually failing because it's retarded, especially in an MMO. Like, if you just copy the best guy, you can never be as good as the best guy. Like, you should try something else to break the monopoly that it used to have. But anyways, then I think this is the last news is One Punch Man. Season 3 is out and it doesn't seem to have many animation frames. So the guy, he is in the manga, I believe also he slides down this hill. He's not supposed to be walking, but still, there's no animation really here at all. And there's another clip. I don't have it here, I don't think, but it's like there's almost like a minute they're just showing some banner and somebody's talking with no animation at all. So it's very lazy. And also I think it took like 6 years since the last season. But yeah, I haven't watched it yet because not all the episodes are out. Gonna wait until then. And yeah, this is One Punch Man animation in 2015. Just look at the detail compared to that. Like, of course, it's possible that the season 3, like maybe there's few scenes like that with no animation really, and maybe they have also really amazing looking animations like this one. But I just want to point out, I think this sort of fighting with this over the top effects, they're lame. They're lame as fuck. But this is of course One Punch Man, and this is a parody of this sort of stuff. So I think it's acceptable here. But it's like, yeah, I'm not 12 years old, so I don't find these sort of over the top explosions and stuff cool. But still, visually it is impressive, and of course, as a parody, it works. And somebody made a screensaver of Garu DVD logo screensaver. Yeah. So yeah, what is the anime industry doing? Like, it took them more than if it was really, was it 2019 then that the season 3 came, season 2 came out. So at least it's been many years, and still they, like, what the fuck is going on? Like, are the people, are the animators working there just so incompetent, or don't they have any money? They don't have any budget. Like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. But yeah, it's sad. But that's the last story of the week. So I don't know. Well, thinking back of on the news stories, I do wonder more about like the stuff that Candice Owens said about that she has something released, some secret she's gonna release about Charlie Kirk, that he was betrayed by everybody. I hope that she's just making it up, and I am intrigued to know what she will release. But gonna end the stream here. I'm Adventure Argonaut. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.